Hi, I'm Sarah,
Hi, I'm Nate.
and we are interviewing our new temple president, Terri Klass. Um,
Hi.
this is really exciting because we're going to get to know her virtually, sadly, but hopefully in person soon. Um, so, what is one goal you have for this year?
Oh, well, I'm going to share with you a couple of goals because there's so many goals and so many changes going on. So I've got two big goals. My first goal is to build relationships within our beautiful temple community and help people connect together. Um, what we created from a board of trustees level is a buddy calling system and a program where every board of trustee has a list of about 40 members, and they're calling just to ask about concerns and find out how everyone is doing, and also to share some of the information that comes out of the board meetings. Because what we learned from the listening campaign, I don't know if you guys remember, we did it. We ended up asking people what was important to them, and they wanted to hear more and be more connected to the Board of Trustees. And the other goal is I'm trying to build a very high performing leadership pipeline so that we have lots of young leaders coming through too. So I feel that that's been an important piece that I'm focusing on.
And you mentioned that you've been on the board of trustees. And what made you want to continue being a member of the Temple leadership team and specifically a Jewish educator?
So Nate, I don't know if you and Sarah realize this, but this is my second go around as president. So I was president many years ago, and I loved it. And I really love the coveted title of past president. That's a very cool title because like you put in all your work, right? And you finally can enjoy. So I wasn't so thrilled originally of coming out of that title, but I knew the Temple community really needed me to do this. I love Temple Emanu-El. I love, it's my Jewish home. It's my spiritual home. It's where I raised my daughters, and my husband and I are very connected. And I felt that I was the person that could kind of step up and do this. I was asked to do it, and I am thrilled that I'm able, to lead the temple in a positive and grateful way. Being a member of the board is extraordinary. It's a gift, and it's a place that not only do we share Jewish values, but we also govern with those Jewish values.
We're glad to have you back.
Thanks.
What's one thing that excites you most about Temple Emanu-El?
So Temple Emanu-El is a very resilient, courageous community. I think the thing that excites me is that we really are always going to be there for one another. I think all of our virtual offerings have been extraordinary. I mean, who knew months ago that we could rise to this amazing occasion and create all of these Zoom calls and these meetings and and our services? We never thought that we would get to this point. So I'm so excited that there's so much energy and there's optimism and hope that we can get through this difficult time together because we are really there for one another.
And you talked about you were a past president before. After going through that experience, what advice would you give to your younger self as president, and what advice do you think now that you would give to someone who's maybe going to be next president, or that you can live by now?
Oh, I love that question. That's a very interesting question. Well, I would say, first of all, going through a second time, I now have perspective and I now have wisdom that I didn't have before. So I would say the most important thing I would tell myself and tell a new leader is don't be afraid to fail. Failing is really critical. Making mistakes is really critical. It's just the opposite of being successful. So, and also failing doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means something that you've tried maybe didn't work out as well. I'm a big believer in piloting things. So just in case, they don't work out as well. So I oftentimes would tell a leader, just pilot something, try something in a smaller way, see how it plays out, and then launch it in a larger way. So, but don't be afraid of making mistakes, because we all make mistakes. Big Bird taught us that years ago, for sure.
And what is one thing you want everyone to know about you?
Okay, so what's one thing? Well, in my day job, I'm a leadership skills training consultant, and I have a website. And one thing that I was a very early adopter of social media. I'm very proud of that. I actually connected with people from all over the world, all over the globe on Twitter. We would conduct these tweet chats all about leadership, because that's what I'm about. And I met a group of leaders who we all co-authored a book together. So we pulled it together, and the book is Energize Your Leadership. And we did this, I guess it was around 2016. And it was the most amazing experience working with people from every place, from Saudi Arabia to Australia to Europe to, all these different, and the United States, of course, all the different states. It was a very interesting experience, and I just met such wonderful people. So I really use social media for my professional life more than anything else.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, you just talked about how you have an incredible leadership experience, and you're a leadership consultant. You have to deal with a lot of different groups of people. Is there a quote about leadership or just an anecdote that you bring up when you're talking to different groups of people about leadership and an approach to leadership that you live by?
Great. So I do have one. It's what I tell everybody whenever I go into programs, although I haven't been able to do face-to-face workshops lately, is you don't need a title, you don't need a position to lead. We all can lead from wherever we are. So, and that's what I've encouraged the board to do as well. And I've encouraged all the committee people. You don't need a specific title. We can lead. And all of you guys, no matter where you are in your lives, if you lead from wherever you are, you will do your best. You will own what it is you're doing, and people will see you as a leader. Because it's interesting, the most influential leaders are not always the leaders with the titles. I don't know if you've noticed that, with the kids that you've been with, but it's not always the kids that have these, fancy things. It's oftentimes the kids who can influence and are kind that we follow.
That's great. Now for some fun questions.
Yay.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
So, oh, wow. Superpowers are awesome. I would say, I wish I could give everybody the ability to be empathetic. I wish I could give them empathy so that they could understand what it would be like to be in another person's shoes. Sometimes we go through things and we think we have an opinion about things, but we don't think about how the other person feels about it. So if I could give the ability, people the ability to really listen to other people and really hear and feel what they are going through, I think we would have a kinder, more generous world and community for sure.
If you were stranded on a deserted island, what are 2 items that you would bring with you?
Well, I guess, what would I bring? Well, one thing I would bring is, I would bring a recording of the voices of all the people I love. That would be a critical thing, because for me, that would be insane. And I love to write. I actually have a weekly leadership blog that I write on my website. So I would bring a journal, because I feel that writing is a wonderful way to share what one is going through. Even during this difficult time, during the pandemic, I've encouraged people, and all of you, you should record things. You should write things down of what you're going through. And it'll be so inspiring when you look back on it to remind you how strong you were and all the challenges that you faced.
That's awesome. What is your favorite animal?
So I would say maybe a peacock, because I love color. And I love when I would go to the zoo and the peacock would open her or his. Actually, I don't know. Do they both have colorful feathers? I think one does.
Yeah, I think the male does.
Okay, and would open up their beautiful feathers, and it would just kind of brighten my whole spirit up. So I would go with a peacock. I know it sounds silly, but I think they're beautiful. They're just beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, what's the last? I know there hasn't been much live TV or anything, but what's the last thing you watched either on TV or on Netflix? And would you recommend it, or just what's something that you would recommend to people if they're bored at home and they don't have much to watch?
I love Netflix. There's nothing on TV, so Netflix is what's really been captivating my attention. I'm also hooked on Australian series. You think this is crazy. I think Australia has an amazing type of lifestyle. They're just like authentic. They don't, they're real. They're not so proper, but I love it. So I've been hooked on these two different series. One was, and it's about families. I'm all about families and people and sagas. One of them is Offspring. I can't tell you how many episodes, but it's been extraordinary. And one was called Wonderland. So I highly recommend them. You have to listen carefully for the accent, right? Because they have a very strong accent for some Americans, but it's wonderful. But the landscape and oh my gosh, Australia is beautiful. And the other one I would really recommend if you can stick with it, it's called Srugim. It's an Israeli series about singles living in modern Orthodox singles living in Jerusalem, and their lives. And it shows pictures and places about the settlements. So those two, those kind of things I would recommend.
I might have to try that.
For sure.
Now for some this or that's. Coke or Pepsi?
Definitely Coke. Diet Coke at that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs. They're sweet. Very sweet.
Calling or texting?
Okay, so I'm really proficient at both. However, and with my kids, we text a lot. With people, I text a lot. I love calling because I love people. I am very energized by people. So I love hearing voices. So for me, it's a very uplifting experience when I can hear the voice. Although I love connecting through video. This has been extraordinary. For sure.
What's worse, laundry or dishes?
I guess I would go with laundry. I hate laundry. I guess after doing it for so many years, I wish I didn't have to do it. I would do that.
Beach trip or mountain trip?
Okay, so they're both great. I take any trip. I would say I love the mountains. I went to sleepaway camp my whole life when I was a kid. And actually, it was a Jewish camp, Camp Ramah. It was through the conservative movement. And it was in the mountains. And it was so picturesque. So I'm going to go with the mountains.
Pancakes or waffles?
Definitely pancakes. I'm a pancake girl. I love all kinds of pancakes. I love the syrup. I love to put different things, fruits and different kinds, even chocolate.
What's your favorite pancake topping?
My favorite topping, I would say whipped cream and strawberries.
Me too.
Yeah, delicious for sure.
And you kind of already answered this, but I'll just spin the question. I'm pretty sure we can infer that if you could travel anywhere, it would be Australia, but anywhere other than Australia, where would that be and why?
Okay. Well, first of all, I do want to go to Australia because I have remember I spoke with the group of people I met globally when I'm writing the book. Well, one of the leaders I met lives in the Outback. She's actually Jewish, and she's the only Jew. Her family's the only Jewish family in the Outback. So I'd love to go visit her. I love to travel, and that's the piece here that's hardest, knowing I can't travel for a while. I want to go back to Europe. I love Europe. I think the history is beautiful. I have never been to Switzerland, and I'd love to do that. And I'd love to go back to Italy. Italy is beautiful.
Is there a specific part of Italy?
Well, we went to Positano, and all along, it's all along the beach area. It is just picturesque. It's breathtaking. I just can't believe between the water and the mountains and are just so extreme. It's just, I just loved it. I just loved it.
Yeah, I also am like big in traveling through Europe. I think going to, I really want to go to Greece, which is another stuff like that, where there's the coastline, but then there's also the city and all the history with it. It's really intriguing to me.
Travel is really important. And I hope both of you, when you get to college, if you get the opportunity to go and study during your junior year abroad or part of it, I would so encourage you, because it opens up a whole different world and shows us how others live. It's really fascinating. For sure.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, I was just wondering, is there any message you have to the Temple Emanu-El community, maybe just about yourself or about anything you want to say to them about your plans for the upcoming year, and whether a lot of it is virtual, a lot of it is in person, is there anything specifically you want to say to them?
Well, I love all of you. I love Temple Emanu-El. I love our community. And I hope I can keep us on a really strong path forward to connect with each other, to build on relationships with each other, and also to develop a culture of generosity, to be able to really work together as a team, but also to help each other. And I know I'm going to be out there trying to get to know as many people as possible. I'm very approachable. So please feel free, anybody in the Temple community, to reach out to me. I'm a great listener. I appreciate feedback. I think it's a gift. I don't look at it as a negative. As long as when people share the feedback, what I ask is to share it in a kind way and not to share it in a mean-spirited way, that I can hear it, so that I can hear it. I think we're going to be doing, some virtual things as we move forward, certainly for the High Holy Days, as Rabbi Prosnick put out, what it's going to look like. But I'm hopeful that we'll be able to connect in person. I'm hopeful the school will be able to be a hybrid, both the nursery school and the religious school. And I just want to meet everybody face to face. And I know it's going to happen at some point within this, at least my first year through, because it's a 2-year cycle for being president. So those are my words. Just stay strong and know we will get through this. And don't let this get you down. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. All right, Terri, thank you so much for joining us and telling us a little bit about you. I know that me and Sara are both extremely excited to hopefully get back in the temple soon.
Definitely.
Religious school, and hopefully we can meet in person sooner than later.
Well, it was a delight to meet Nate and Sara. It was a delight to meet both of you today. And you are
nice talking to you.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. You are great leaders as well. So
Yeah.
I'm very hopeful for our community and for the two of you. And I wish you all the best as you embark on your senior year as we move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Mhm.